You ever wake up from a dream with this deep feeling that it wasn't just your mind playing tricks on you? That unsettling feeling that you were really somewhere else, that you talked with someone who's passed on, or even got a message so clear it felt impossible to have been just your imagination? For thousands of years, people have been asking, where does our consciousness go when we sleep? And what if dreams aren't just random brain fidgeting, but real doorways to dimensions beyond our physical reality? If this topic sparks your curiosity, don't waste another second watching this video. Hit that like button right now and turn on notifications, because what I'm sharing today could completely change the way you see what really happens when you close your eyes to sleep. What many call just dreams might actually be one of the oldest and most powerful forms of spiritual communication available to every one of us. Right now, as you watch me, there are people around the world receiving guidance, healing, and messages through that dimensional passage that opens when we slip into deep sleep. Let's dive into this mystery together. In ancient Egyptian temples, there were special chambers known as houses of the dream, where priests and ordinary people slept with the very specific purpose of receiving messages from the gods. For the Egyptians, dreaming wasn't a random experience. It was a sacred channel of communication with the divine, as real and meaningful as any waking experience. Native Americans practiced vision quests through dreams, believing that while sleeping, the soul temporarily left the body, allowing encounters with ancestral spirits and animal guides. They didn't see a separation between the dream world and the physical world. Both were equally real, just different dimensions of the same existence. In ancient Greece, the temples of Asclepius functioned like genuine dream hospitals. Sick people would travel miles to sleep at these sanctuaries, seeking healing dreams sent by the god of medicine. The reports of miraculous cures following these dream incubations were so many that the temples stayed active for over 800 years. What's fascinating is that these traditions developed independently on different continents, with no contact between them. Somehow, they all reached the same conclusion. Dreams are genuine portals to the spiritual world. Is that just some cultural coincidence? Or is it evidence of a universal truth our ancestors understood better than we do? You've probably had thousands of ordinary dreams, those fuzzy, fragmented ones that seem to blend random bits from your day. But then, there are the other dreams, the ones that seem to work by completely different rules. Let's look at the crucial differences. Spiritual dreams have this hyper-real quality that makes them instantly stand out. The colors are much more vibrant, the details sharper, and often you feel physical sensations with an impressive clarity, the touch of a hand, the smell of a familiar perfume, or the temperature of the air. It's as if your senses are even more heightened than when you're awake. The emotional intensity is another marker. While regular dreams might stir up emotions, spiritual visitations carry an overwhelming depth of feeling, a sense of unconditional love, profound peace, or an instant understanding that goes far beyond any everyday experience. Many people report waking up in tears, not from sadness, but because they felt such a deep connection that their body barely could handle it. The lasting memory of these dreams is perhaps the most revealing sign. Even though most dreams fade quickly after you wake up, try as you might to hold on to them. They slip away like sand through your fingers. Those spiritual visitations stay crystal clear for days, months, sometimes even a lifetime. Years later, you can describe every detail as if it happened just yesterday. And finally, the most convincing element, verifiable information. People often receive in these dreams details they couldn't possibly have known. The location of a lost object, messages meant for others that include private information, or predictions of future events that later unfold exactly as shown in the dream. Maria, a 43-year-old woman who lost her son in a car accident, spent months consumed by grief, wondering if he was okay, if he had suffered. Then one night, she had a dream unlike any other. Her son appeared in a field full of yellow flowers, his favorites, under a warm golden light coming from everywhere. "Mom, I'm fine. Better than you can imagine," he said while holding her hands. The sensation of his touch was so real that Maria could even feel the little scar on his thumb. "I didn't suffer. It was over quickly. And that song you've been hearing on the radio? That's me sending you a signal." Maria had never told anyone about a specific song that played over and over in the most unlikely moments, a song that always reminded her of him. When Maria woke up, she felt a peace she hadn't experienced since the accident. Later that day, while visiting a friend who knew nothing about the dream, the friend remarked, "That's strange. I planted flowers in my garden last week, and only the yellow ones bloomed overnight, nothing else." Carlos, a skeptical businessman who never cared much for spirituality, had a vivid dream about his grandfather who had passed away 15 years ago. In the dream, his grandfather led him to a specific part of the family's old attic and pointed to a loose floorboard, saying, "The documents you're looking for are right there. Your mom is going to need them now." Carlos woke up confused. His family wasn't looking for any documents. 3 days later, his mom called in a panic. She urgently needed the original deed of the house to deal with an unexpected legal issue, but she couldn't find it anywhere. Remembering the dream, Carlos went to the house, climbed up into the attic he hadn't visited since childhood, found the exact board his grandfather had pointed to, and underneath it, an old folder containing not only the deed, but also insurance policies no one knew about. Dr. Jennifer Matthews, a researcher of near-death experiences, has documented hundreds of cases where patients in comas or under deep anesthesia came back with detailed information about conversations in the operating room or events happening in other parts of the hospital or even in their homes while they were clinically unconscious. The brain of these people wasn't in a condition to fabricate or record that information, she explains. It's almost as if consciousness actually moves to another point of observation, able to perceive beyond the limits of the physical body. What makes these accounts so convincing is the consistency across cultures, ages, and personal beliefs. People who had never even heard of each other, with no prior suggestion or connection, describe strikingly similar experiences. It's as if we're all tapping into the same realm through those night portals we call dreams. Modern science, which for so long dismissed dreams as mere byproducts of memory consolidation, is now starting to open up to deeper understandings. And it's at the crossroads of quantum physics and neuroscience that we find the most fascinating explanations for dreams as spiritual gateways. Dr. Stuart Hameroff, an anesthesiologist and researcher at the University of Arizona, along with physicist Roger Penrose, proposed the orchestrated objective reduction theory. They suggest that consciousness isn't produced by the brain, but that it exists as a quantum phenomenon that the brain simply accesses, like a radio receiving waves rather than creating them. During deep sleep, especially in REM phases, the microtubules in brain cells enter states of quantum coherence that might allow consciousness to tap into information beyond the usual space-time limits. Research into brainwaves reveals something equally intriguing. During deep spiritual experiences and certain types of dreams, the brain shows patterns of high-frequency gamma waves combined with theta waves, the very same neural signature observed in mediums, shamans, and master meditators during deep trances. It's as if the brain literally switches stations, tuning into frequencies that allow communication with other levels of reality. The observer effect, one of the most baffling principles in quantum physics, shows that subatomic particles exist in a state of probability until they're observed. In other words, reality as we know it is fundamentally influenced by consciousness. If we apply this to dreams, we can understand that the consciousness freed from physical limitations during sleep might actually create or access alternative realities that are just as valid as our waking reality. The most fascinating part is that these theories do not contradict ancient spiritual traditions. They complement them by providing a modern vocabulary to explain what ancient cultures already intuitively understood, that consciousness goes beyond the physical brain, and that dreams can be genuine doorways to dimensions beyond matter. If dreams really are spiritual portals, then how can we intentionally open these gateways? How can we turn sleeping into a conscious spiritual practice? The techniques I'm about to share have roots in ancient traditions, but have been validated by modern experiences. Preparation starts way before you even lie down. During the day, practice moments of conscious presence. Take 30-second pauses just to notice your breathing and body sensations. This practice strengthens your ability to maintain awareness during the transition to sleep, when the portals start to open. Your physical environment is key. Turn your bedroom into an energetic sanctuary. Get rid of unnecessary electronics, especially near your bed. Electronic devices emit electromagnetic fields that interfere not only with the quality of your sleep, but with the subtle aspects of spiritual perception. Many people report deeper experiences when they sleep in natural settings, away from the electromagnetic pollution of cities. Create a consistent bedtime ritual. It might include a short meditation using essential oils like lavender or sandalwood, used for millennia in spiritual practices, or visualizing a protective light around your body. This ritual isn't merely superstition, it's like programming your brain and consciousness to know you're about to enter a receptive, special state. Meaningful objects can act as anchors or energetic bridges. Many traditions suggest sleeping with a personal item belonging to a loved one who has passed on, with whom you wish to communicate, or keeping a quartz crystal near your pillow to amplify subtle energies. The effectiveness of these objects isn't necessarily due to any magical properties inherent in them, but in the conscious intention you assign to them. The dream incubation technique is especially powerful. Before you drift off, clearly set an intention or pose a specific question. Don't just think about it casually, feel it with your whole being. I want to connect with my grandfather tonight, or I seek guidance on the decision I need to make. Repeat this intention while visualizing the desired encounter, allowing genuine emotion to flow through you. The position you sleep in also matters. Studies with lucid dreaming practitioners have found that sleeping on your back, lying on your stomach, increases the chances of having conscious experiences during sleep. Some Tibetan traditions recommend sleeping on your right side, with your right hand under your cheek and your left hand extended along your leg, the position in which they believe the Buddha reached enlightenment. Waking up gradually is just as important as preparing for sleep. When you feel that you're waking from a significant dream, stay still with your eyes closed. That hypnagogic state is a bridge between worlds where spiritual communication can continue. Keep a notebook by your bed to jot down your experiences immediately, before your rational mind starts discarding details that seem impossible in daylight. Remember, patience is key. You're developing a skill that most people in our society have never consciously cultivated. For some, results come on the very first night. For others, it might take weeks of consistent practice. What matters is your openness and persistence. When a genuine spiritual visitation happens in a dream, certain key elements tend to appear consistently, no matter your cultural or religious background. Recognizing these signs can help you tell apart a true spiritual communication from an ordinary dream. The first element is recognizable presence. Even if the appearance is a bit different, maybe younger or more radiant, there's an unshakable certainty about who's communicating with you. Many people describe an unmistakable, energetic signature that goes beyond physical looks. It wasn't just how my mom looked, one study participant shared after a dream during mourning. It was her complete essence, something I'd recognize in any form. The messages in spiritual visitations are crystal clear, without the typical confusion of ordinary dreams. They're often conveyed through a direct communication that seems to bypass words, a sudden transfer of understanding. You don't just hear the message, you absorb it with your entire being in a way that goes beyond intellectual comprehension. The guidance you receive during these encounters tends to be deeply relevant to your current life situation, often touching on issues you may not have even consciously verbalized. Unlike generic advice, this guidance usually includes specific insights that spark that aha moment, a realization that reshapes your understanding of a problem or situation. A powerful sense of peace almost always accompanies these experiences. Even when the message involves challenging information or warnings about future events, it comes wrapped in a feeling of deep tranquility and security. Many people report waking up with a sense of calm that persists for days or weeks, positively affecting their overall emotional state and outlook on life. Perhaps the most convincing sign is the validation through unknown information. When a spiritual visitor reveals details that you couldn't have known by normal means, like the location of a lost item, events happening far away, or personal facts about them that you later confirm, the experience goes far beyond just being a dream. Personal symbolism also plays a crucial role. Unlike the universal symbols of ordinary dreams, the symbols in spiritual visitations are deeply personal, often hinting at shared experiences or inside jokes that no one else would understand. It's like a spiritual signature that confirms the authenticity of the communication. Developing what I call dream literacy, the ability to read and interpret the unique language of your own dreams, is essential for recognizing these visitations. Start by noticing the recurring patterns in your regular dreams. What symbols show up often? How do you usually feel in them? Establishing this baseline makes it much easier to identify when something extraordinary is happening. It's important to note that not all spiritual visitations in dreams involve deceased loved ones. Spiritual guides, angelic beings, or even higher aspects of your own consciousness can show up, offering guidance or healing. The key to spotting the difference lies in the quality of the energy and the nature of the message. A true communication always resonates with love and wisdom, never fear or control. Your emotional state acts as a powerful filter for spiritual experiences during sleep. Periods of intense stress or trauma might temporarily block your receptivity, like a radio caught in static. Paradoxically, moments of deep emotional vulnerability, like during grief, can create extraordinary openings for these contacts. The dividing line seems to be in the quality of your emotion. While anxiety scatters your energy, sadness that's been processed with acceptance can create a welcoming field for transcendent communications. The natural biorhythms of your body also play a significant role, something science is only beginning to understand. Recent research has identified that the 3 hours before dawn, what ancient traditions called the magic hour, correspond to a unique brain state where theta and delta waves overlap in a special way. During this period, the barrier between dimensions seems especially permeable. It's no coincidence that Buddhist monks and devout Christians traditionally wake up for meditation and prayer at this time. The influence of the lunar phases on spiritual receptivity during sleep is documented in almost every ancient culture. A full moon can amplify psychic energy, but it might also make it more chaotic, like a high tide that brings treasures to the shore but also churns up the sand. A new moon, on the other hand, creates a subtler, more focused field, ideal for specific communications. Try keeping a dream journal for 3 months and noting the lunar phases, and you'll probably discover fascinating patterns in your own experiences. The intentional use of sounds and frequencies can literally reconfigure your brain for greater receptivity. Binaural beats in the theta frequency, 4 to 7 Hz, have been scientifically shown to boost lucid dreaming and transcendent experiences during sleep. You can access these frequencies through specialized apps or free recordings. Some people also report remarkable results with Tibetan singing bowls or tuning forks set to specific frequencies before sleep. Sleeping in areas with low electromagnetic pollution creates ideal conditions for spiritual experiences in sleep. In a fascinating study conducted at the University of Arizona, volunteers who slept in a Faraday cage, which blocks out external electromagnetic fields, reported a 400% increase in lucid dreaming experiences and perceived spiritual contacts. This might explain why so many people report incredibly vivid and meaningful dreams when camping in nature, far from the electromagnetic overload of the cities. Times of transition in your life, career changes, new relationships, moving geographically naturally, create cracks in our shared reality through which transcendent experiences can emerge more easily. In these moments of transformation, the rigid structures of our identity become more flexible, allowing for greater fluidity among different realms of consciousness. If you're going through such a period now, consider it a precious opportunity to deepen your connection with spiritual realms through your dreams. Just like you wouldn't open your front door to anyone without checking who's knocking, it's essential to develop practices of discernment and protection when opening gateways to the spiritual world through dreams. This isn't about fear, it's about wisdom, recognizing that there are many layers of reality with different energies and beings. The most fundamental protection starts with a conscious intention. Before you sleep, visualize yourself wrapped in a bright golden or blue light that acts as a selective filter, letting through only communications of love and wisdom while blocking out discordant energies. This isn't just an abstract visualization. You're actually programming your energetic field to operate according to specific parameters during that vulnerable state of sleep. Many spiritual traditions recommend explicitly calling on trusted guides, protective angels, or supportive ancestors before seeking spiritual experiences in your dreams. Whatever your personal spiritual path, forming conscious relationships with benevolent presences creates an energetic safety net that naturally filters out dubious communications. Your emotional discernment is your most reliable compass. Genuine spiritual contacts, even when they bring challenging information, leave behind an aftertaste of peace, clarity, and expansion. Experiences that stir up persistent anxiety, confusion, or feelings of diminished self-worth should be questioned, not necessarily immediately rejected, but definitely examined with extra care. Staying grounded in physical reality is essential when working with subtle realms. Grounding practices like walking barefoot in nature, working with plants, or eating healthy, earth-grown foods help keep your energy system balanced. People deeply involved in spiritual practices who neglect this aspect often report chaotic or confusing dream experiences. Sharing your experiences within a trusted community offers an extra layer of discernment. When you can, talk about your dreams with people who understand the multidimensional nature of reality. Sometimes, patterns or distortions you might miss become evident when you speak them aloud and other aware minds listen. Intentional communities of dreamers, whether in person or online, can offer validation and valuable perspectives. The consistency of messages across multiple dreams is an important sign of authenticity. Genuine communications tend to display recurring themes over time, building a coherent body of guidance or insight. Be cautious of messages that dramatically contradict each other or that prompt impulsive actions based on a single dream. Finally, always remember that you retain your spiritual sovereignty even while you sleep. Develop and practice clear boundary affirmations like, "I only engage with energies of love and wisdom that serve my highest good," or "I maintain my spiritual authority in all states of consciousness." These statements of intention work as powerful programming that continues to operate even when your analytical mind is at rest. As you grow in your ability to use dreams as spiritual gateways, there are advanced practices that can dramatically expand the scope and depth of your experiences. These techniques require consistent dedication, but the results often go far beyond what you ever imagined possible. The thematic incubation of dreams allows you to explore specific dimensions of spiritual reality. Instead of simply seeking contact with a loved one or general guidance, you can intentionally program explorations of certain realms, like the space between lives, past civilizations, or potential futures. The key is to maintain that thematic focus for several consecutive days, building a consistent bridge to that particular dimension of reality. Developing lucid awareness during regular dreams is also a powerful stepping stone to deeper spiritual experiences. Start with simple reality checks during the day, like looking at your hands several times and asking, "Am I dreaming right now?" This habit eventually carries over into your dreams, creating moments of lucidity that can be deliberately directed towards spiritual contact. The shared dream technique involves two or more people agreeing to consciously meet in a dream state. Set a specific, easily recognizable meeting place like a purple sandy beach or a uniquely detailed house, and set the intention to meet there in your sleep. The initial results might be fragmented, but with practice many people develop the ability to create genuinely conscious meetings in the dream realm, validated by matching details recalled by each participant. Mapping out the spiritual geographies in your dreams over time reveals fascinating patterns. Keep a dedicated journal to describe the environments of your spiritual dreams, the quality of the light, the architecture, the landscapes, and the feelings. Many people discover that they repeatedly visit certain places that seem to exist independently of their imagination, with stable characteristics and recurring inhabitants. Communication with non-human consciousness represents a deep frontier in spiritual dreaming. Ancient shamans and seers from all cultures have reported encounters with planetary intelligences, animal spirits, or entities that never took on a physical form. Approach these possibilities with both openness and discernment, remembering that the vastness of universal consciousness likely goes beyond our limited categories of existence. Blending daytime meditative practices with dream exploration creates a powerful synergy. Specific techniques like Yoga Nidra meditation, the conscious sleep, create in-between states where you remain aware while your body is deeply asleep. This liminal state offers a unique access to spiritual dimensions, combining the clarity of wakeful consciousness with the receptivity of the dream state. Working with dream objects, items you repeatedly encounter in spiritual dreams, can establish stable bridges between different states of consciousness. When you encounter a significant object in a spiritual dream, a unique crystal, an old book, an engraved symbol, try to consciously bring it back by visualizing it during meditation or even creating a physical representation of it. These objects can act as keys that help you return to that specific state of consciousness. Remember that growing spiritually through dreams isn't a straight-line journey, but more of a spiral, each loop bringing deeper understanding. You'll revisit lessons and realizations over and over, each time with greater depth and nuance. Be patient with yourself during those periods that seem unproductive. Often, it's precisely during those intervals that crucial integrations are happening beneath the surface of your awareness. What I've shared with you today isn't just theoretical information. It's an invitation to a journey of personal transformation. A journey that starts tonight, when you close your eyes to sleep. Imagine for a moment what it would be like if every night's sleep became an opportunity for deep spiritual connection, for receiving divine guidance, for reconnecting with those you thought were lost forever. That possibility is available to you right now. It's not a gift reserved for mediums or mystics. It's your birthright as a conscious being. The dream portals to the spiritual world don't discriminate based on religious beliefs, cultural background, or previous experience. They only respond to your sincere intention, your openness to receive, and your willingness to practice the techniques I've shared. Some people ask me, why does this matter? Even if dreams are real spiritual portals, how does it change my everyday life? The answer is profound. When you directly experience the continuity of consciousness beyond the physical body, when you get personal confirmation that your loved ones continue to exist in another dimension, and when you realize that you're guided and loved by forces beyond the material world, everything changes. The fear of death diminishes dramatically. Daily decisions are made with a broader perspective. Relationships are healed through communications that your rational mind would say are impossible. Realizing that you're part of a much larger cosmic tapestry brings a sense of purpose and meaning that goes far beyond the moment-to-moment struggles of human life. Your next significant spiritual dream might happen tonight, or it might take a few weeks of intentional practice. The timing isn't completely in your hands, but the preparation certainly is. Start today. Try at least one of the techniques we discussed. Open yourself up to the possibility that while your body rests, your consciousness might travel, learn, and communicate in ways that go beyond physical limits. If this content resonated with you, if something inside recognized a truth that maybe you've always intuited but never heard put this way, take action right now. Subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so we can continue this exploration together. In the upcoming videos, we'll dive even deeper into specific aspects of this practice, from advanced spiritual protection techniques to how to document and verify information received through dreams. Share your own experiences with spiritual dreams in the comments. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to validate their own experiences or to open up to possibilities they never considered. We're building a community of conscious explorers here, supporting each other on this journey of spiritual discovery. Remember, the veil between worlds is thinner than most people realize, and maybe the most accessible portal of all is the one you pass through every night as you close your eyes and let your consciousness break free from the ties of physical reality. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, pause for a moment. Set your intention. Open your heart. and then cross that portal with confidence, knowing you're never really alone on your journey. Thank you so much for taking the time to explore the mysteries of dreams with me today. Until we meet again, may your dreams be portals of light, love, and spiritual revelation. And as you wake, may you carry with you the wisdom, healing, and connection you experienced beyond the veil. Because in the end, maybe dreams aren't an escape from reality, as many believe. Perhaps they're windows into a broader, deeper, and truer reality, a reality patiently waiting for us to awaken to it, one night at a time. Subscribe to the channel and leave a like to get access to more stories like this. Until our next encounter, remember, what we call just dreams might be the start of your deepest spiritual adventure, and it all begins tonight.